So I went to my first ever audio event here in Japan. I got to try a few IEMs from a few interesting brands, and today I'll be going over my thoughts on them. Hey friends, Tim here back now on SeeAudio. Now today I have a few thoughts on some IEMs I tried at PotaFest. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's not a big event, but there were a few brands there that I thought were interesting, namely SeeAudio, Fir Audio, and Dita. And these are the three brands we'll be focusing on today. Now before we jump into these first impressions, keep in mind that this was at an event. There were a lot of people, there were people in line, so I didn't really get to spend too long with these IEMs. So all of these thoughts were made based off of just one song. So a true one song first impression. So take a lot of these thoughts with a grain of salt. So let's start out with the first brand, SeeAudio. The first one I tried was the Kaguya. Now the Kaguya is the most expensive one in their lineup, so expectations were high before I tried this IEM. And when I got it, I put it in my ears, I turned it on, I thought it was just alright. I thought it was kind of an average IEM. It has good levels of details. I wouldn't say end game level of details by any means. Tuning also has a warm tinge to it. I wouldn't say it's muddy, maybe a little bit muddy leading into the lower mids, but warmer, bassier presentation to say the least. Treble extension is also okay, it's well extended from what I remembered, but all in all, my first impression was it's just alright. Like it really didn't impress me, and for again the end game price tag, I really was hoping to be blown away. I wasn't with the Kaguya. Next is the Miu, the new Miu. Now this, I believe, is the Japanese release of the Miu. There'll be an international version, which I think will have all different tuning as well. Why do you do this, SeeAudio? Why not keep it the same tuning across the board, Japanese and international? And the reason I'm saying this is because the Japanese unit, the one that I've tried, is tuned well. I actually really enjoy the tuning of it. It has really clean bass and mid separation, good amount of bass power as well, really good mid-range vocals come across, kind of natural feeling, a little bit tame, not as forward as I would like, but natural feeling nonetheless, good treble extension, and the level of details is actually good as well. So a lot to like about the new Miu coming out here. Now, I'm not so sure about the international version because of course I haven't tried that version yet. I hope they don't change too much because the Japanese version is a win in my book so far. Based off of one song, it's a win in my book. And last from SeeAudio, we have the Neo. And Neo is another one that I enjoyed from what I remembered. It has also good tuning. It leans a bit on the bright side. The upper mids and the treble energy is a lot, so vocals comes across very lively and forward. But I do feel that it can be too much for some if you're sensitive to the treble area. The bass is good, bass control is also nice, and the level of details was good as well. For the asking price, $1,000, I still think that's steep nowadays in 2022 when there's so many other cheap options out there. I think when it was first released, it was a lot more competitive. Nowadays, a little bit tough. I still like the tuning though, still a solid IEM, although just a little bit on the pricey side nowadays. Next, we have Fir Audio, and I tried all three of their new Frontier line of IEMs, their new 3 flagship price IEM, the Neon 4, the Krypton 5, the Xeon 6. So let's start off with the Neon 4. Now the Neon 4, actually, let's just rope all of them. All three of them have a very bassy, warm, muddy signature. The Neon 4 to me sounds the best out of the three. It has the most natural feeling mid-range and upper mids. The treble area is a bit on the tame side, but not a detriment in any way. The bass quality is generally good, it's dynamic, it's thumpy, is satisfying to listen to. It's just too much, you know, like it leans on the warm and it bleeds into the lower mids, which affects the other instruments. So it has too much there, but overall, if you like a thumpy bass, it does have that. The level of details is also decent on this as well. The Krypton 5 is muddier than the 4. Don't really see a reason to go for the 5 when the 4 is similar and arguably tuned better. The level of details on the 4 is also pretty much similar to the 5, if not slightly a bit better as well, because you get less of that kind of muddy or overwhelming bass feeling that you do get on the 5. The Xeon 6, the most expensive one of them all, have the best level of details, but it's also the bassiest sounding one. So yeah, it has the same problem as the 5 and the 4, but amplifies. So vocalists really feel like they're taking a back seat and giving way to the wave of bass that is in here. It's just the tuning is just not that well done with all three of these IEMs. I feel like the level of details is there for the Xeon 6, and the 4 is competent, the 5 not my favorite, but the biggest problem is the tuning. It's just bassy, it's just warm, it's just a little bit muddy on some of them. If you do love bass and you kind of want a bassy, warm signature, out of the three, if you were to buy one, the Neon 4 is the best out of the three. But again, yeah, all three are really not my taste. And last but not least, we have the Dita Perpetua. Yeah, that's the name, the Dita Perpetua. This one was my favorite of today, hence why I saved this one for last. I gave it like a 4 out of 5 first impression score, which is the highest one of that day. For me, this one is really nice. It's nicely done bass, clean for the most part, great levels of details, vocals comes across natural as well. I remember it having quite a nice height and depth. There's some 3D holographic soundstage going on there, which is something that I look for in end-game level IEM. It needs to have that, or else it's not worth spending thousands of dollars on. And the Perpetua actually has that kind of soundstage, which is really nice. Couple that with a nicely tuned sound and great details as well, makes it just the best IEM that I've tried that day. The only thing about it is that it is so expensive. Looking at my notes now, there's a couple things I missed to say about the Perpetua. The number one thing I liked about it was the bass. It has good enough bass power, strong bass without being distracting. It's dynamic, it's really satisfying to listen to. The treble extension can be a bit more. I feel like I want a little bit more of a sparkle from it, but that's nitpicking at best. It has a slightly bit more of a relaxed style of tuning, which for me, I prefer something a little bit livelier, but still great tuning nonetheless. And yeah, that should be it. The Perpetua, the best one of the day. The second best one of the day was the Miu from SeeAudio. The rest of them were just okay. There's another IEM as well that I tried called the Final A8000. That one is just all right as well. It has a slight V shape leaning on the bright side signature. End game level price, I don't think it's end game level performance. It's yeah, that's all I have to say about it really. All right, that's it for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sure that I'll be attending a lot more events here in Japan as I see them, and I'll bring you guys some more first impressions on these really hard to come by end game IEMs or some new IEMs if I happen to find it. Anything interesting really. And yeah, thank you again. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. And oh, I forgot. Let me know down in the comment section below what you think of any of these IEMs that I talked about today. Let's share our thoughts, you know, give me your opinions. And again, these were all made based off one song, so take it all with a grain of salt. It's one song test in an event environment, all right? So don't shoot me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. Bye.